Hi, okay, let's get started. Let's see. Thank you for your likes, your shares, and your subscriptions. It means a lot to me. Let's jump in. They're saying no. Let it all go. It's not, there's an energy here of holding on to things still that is not quite, it's not needed. Yeah, and you also understand what it is you need to do as well. Okay, let's have a look. You guys, the best thing to do right now is to connect with your inner child, because it's going to really help you understand. If, especially if people are feeling blocked right now, try and connect to your inner child, and do that by doing things that you enjoyed doing when you were younger, because there's an energy here that is being given to you to be tapped into that is going to really help make you guys feel better, is how I want to say it. But it's up to you if you choose to access that, because what they're saying is that when we do get into this next Scorpio season, that energy will be not as accessible, because at the moment we're in the Libra, the energy of balance, which is why this is going to be accessible to you. But when we come out of that into Scorpio season, it's like the lessons will be, there'll be a requirement to be rebirthed in some way. And if that balance hasn't been understood, it's going to be a little bit more harder to integrate, is the way I want to say it. And do I have permission, Spirit? Is this what you want me to do? Okay, if you choose not to accept this energy, just click off now. But if you choose to accept this higher energy, so understand what I'm referring to, bear with me. Okay, they're saying do it one more time. Right, so again, if you don't want to be a part of this, click off. But they're saying I need to send this awareness, is how they're saying it. This is really interesting, because the way they're saying this is there's a, and if you've clicked off, you can come back on now, because I'm not sending any more energy. It's like they're showing this kind of sea parting, and it's like there's an access point between now and this is coming up to the next week and a half, where this energy is more accessible, is how I want to say it. But people are overthinking this. But this energy, as you're coming in and past this weekend, I want to say coming up to sort of, the time that you're watching this, you're going to be coming into a more open awareness of energy, where you're going to feel that you're going to see and understand what I'm referring to with this new chapter, because there's going to be a bit of a heightened energy in the air where you can't quite pinpoint what it is, but there's a sense of almost urgency. Don't buy into that, is how I want to say it. Don't buy into it, because it's like we have to just pull this right back. It's like there's two alternative energies that are accessible, one that's propelling forward and one that's kind of propelling back in a bit of a loop. It's just important to observe this for the time being. Don't be caught into this kind of rat race of running into, quickly getting swept up. And I don't know why, but this is specifically now I want to talk about one country in particular now, because the energies are going to differ in different countries. I feel like this is going to be for the UK. The UK people watching this, you guys need to be aware of that. I don't know if it's going to be as prevalent stateside or alternative locations. European possibly, but I would say as you're going into through Greece, Turkish Cyprus, Greek parts of Cyprus, Greece, Turkey, into further east, no. But Europe possibly, and UK, yes. There's a heightened sense here, and just try not to buy into the need to react is how I want to say it, because there's going to be a build-up coming up where if you can do this work, it will be easier to navigate is how I want to say it. But there's going to be a sense of urgency that it's palpable. Just be aware of that in the next couple of days. It's going to, if you haven't sensed it, you may do starting, or maybe you've already sensed it. But this is what I need to mention for today. This connects to how you specifically relate through family members. This is the ancestral line. This is an ancestral line that's been cleared out. Okay. Okay, I think I'm going to go into the cards. They want me to expand a little bit on this ancestral energy here. So they're showing this tree that's growing, sprouting new branches. So there's like, this is about DNA upgrades and this energy that is, because obviously you got to remember, as above, so below. So we're then, whenever there's this large shift of consciousness within the world, that will be kind of expressed on an external level, but also internally, right? Because we're mirrors of our reality, aren't we? Within our internal system, we're mirrors of that. So if our DNA has gone through upgrades with the situation that we've just had going on, the external will start to reflect that. And this is where we're going to start seeing sort of more and more of that. But you're just be careful not to fall into old patternings and ways of doing things, ancestral patterns, ancestral ways of doing things. That's going to be really important too. So the more we're releasing, the more we can bring on and take on. But they're saying just get the balance if you can. Okay, what other messages, please? What other messages, please? Yes. Clarifying what I'm saying, we've got deepening. So this is, it says, once you're on earth for enough lifetimes, your old soul will begin to long for non-grasping detachment and surrender. They bring the peace of God. Release it. Okay, now this cat, obviously we know cats are very connected to the spirit world. They can see that they're able to understand a lot more. These guys usually can see a lot more, aren't they? And they're the protectors of more darker, lower energies, right? As this veil, because what I'm talking about here is as Halloween gets closer, the veil between us and the afterlife, us and alternate realities is going to get thinner and thinner. And so if our wounds are not transmuted, we can be projecting that onto our external and then making wrong decisions. And then that re-loops us back round. They're saying, look, you don't need to be doing that. This is a really important stage. There's no coincidence that I took time off up until this point. Because when I started doing these readings, I was minding my own business. And I was like, literally out of nowhere, all I heard was, Jale, now. And I was like, what? And they were like, just go. And I was just, that was it. Did my preparation, started recording. Because I'm like, I just instinctively knew that I needed to get on it, you know? There's no such thing as a coincidence. And you guys are going to have that same energy where you might be feeling like there's something coming. But it's like, if you're buying into a fear, you're going to be, you've got to be very careful what you're manifesting right now. So if you're sat there going, yeah, but I can feel something coming and I don't like it. Yeah, you're manifesting that. So just be aware of what it is you're trying to put out there. And also this, you need to practice gratitude, because fill me with gratitude for all you give. May I be a vehicle for you wherever I go. Like, you guys are reflections of the energy that is around you, right? And for example, if you've had a tough year, if you've gone through a lot, if you're still alive and maybe you've lost people, then you have to acknowledge that there is a reason for that, and be thankful. Even if you're not in the space you're in, just take 2 seconds of your day. Like, I do that because obviously I feel like I owe it to my father, who's not here, to do what I can do, because that's what you do for loved ones, isn't it? That you try and open your heart up to, because it means something to you, but you mean something to you as well. So don't forget that, especially if you've lost loved ones, because we all know about Halloween and, giving thanks to our loved ones and stuff like that. But it's really important to acknowledge the present state we're in, even if things are tough. And, we've got obviously energy price issues over in the UK, and obviously there's a lot of other monetary issues going on in the world. We have to be thankful for what we've got. That's something that Spirit has to tell me to advise. I'm sure you guys are aware of this, but through offering, even the most mundane problem can become a sacrament. People feel like they've given a part of themselves to things that they don't recognize. So acknowledge the things that you do recognize and reconnect with the things that you do recognize. Start with the small things. Like, there's a self-love energy here, that we're in this dualistic energy. If we're not acknowledging the self and the positive aspects, then we are focusing merely on the negative, and that's not going to help anybody, Let's get more messages. And also, if your intuition is deepening right now, if you practice this self-love and really focus on that, it will help you to come out of any predicaments that you feel like you need help with or assistance with. Okay, any more messages here for this particular read, Spirit? Anything else? Any other messages for this particular read? Any other messages, please? Right, okay, you got to trust here. This is the mother's lineage. You've got to trust. There's, okay, let me tap into this. Wow. You guys have a lot of energy that is accessible to you at the moment. If you're only focused on the lower energies, fear, pain, anger, sorrow, you're going to see more of that. If you're focused on the higher energies, you're going to see more of that. Okay, it's going to be up to you how you move this forward. If you're focused only on pain, anger, sorrow, regret, anything low vibrational, you're going to be manifesting that. You're going to have to be careful. If you're focused on other things, that will be reflected back to you. There's a mirror. Again, the veil is getting thinner here. Your life is a canvas. Have creative accountability for what it is that you're bringing into your environment. Because as soon as you take responsibility for that, you'll upgrade yourself, and the current problems won't be the problems. You'll be up leveling. Yeah, look, okay, and this is the thing. If you guys there's an energy here that's of where you're stuck in this energy and you don't know how to get out of it. It's because your heart needs to heal. The cosmic heart is in reverse, which is about devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. It's like by you disconnecting from what... Okay, so let me break this down. If your outer world is projecting anger, pain, violence, stuff like that, there is a need for the self to go within and fix the internal issue, because it is a projection of the internal, okay? If you choose not to do that, and or focus on only pain, sorrow, anger, stuff like that. And I'm not talking about avoidance of healing, because we have to do that within our own time, but we also have to move out of that, right? Don't keep staying in this for prolonged periods of time, because it will not help, okay? What you're going to need to do is focus once you've done your shadow and taken the time to understand why this projection is happening. Come out of that and then focused on more heightened energy, because that will in itself manifest further and it will help you heal. The cosmic heart is in reverse is because there's a block in manifestation, because the heart isn't healing because of all the energy that's being put out there. And if your heart is one of pain and or is not assisting with, you know, being tolerant and providing gratitude, there will be a reflection of that within your external also, which will be, you'll find there'll be a frustration of how to move your life forward, because you won't really know how to do it. Be devoted to the self. Everything you need is within you. That's the key to everything. People are looking externally way too much here for everything. It's always going to be within you. It always is going to be. It always will be. But if you're still in that narrative where everything that's going on around you is not your problem or not your fault or anything like that, you're disconnecting yourself from you. And by disconnecting yourself from you, the cosmic heart in reverse, that gateway of manifestation, it's not going to come through. You guys need to be really aware of that, because it says make your life a moving prayer. The way that life is made is a testimony to what you can create. Creative accountability. Your life is a canvas. You know, now, for me personally, I paint, I draw, right? So again, that's my own personal expression of how I do things. But you need to find your own way, your own voice, in order to really express a part of you. If you feel like you do need to go through that healing, because when you're doing that, you'll release a part of you that is going to allow you to step forward. So this is the other thing. There's a lot of energy as well on, I mean, look, we've got powerful places, ley lines, trust where you're led. And we've got Stonehenge in this picture here. So if you're being led to a certain area, you need to trust that. But it's in reverse. So people are being led to do healing. So maybe there's examples or situations going on in life, but people don't want to acknowledge it because it's about accountability. About accountability for your own part of what you're playing here within this reality that we're in. And then you've got the love in the reverse. Okay, so we've got this energy here that's in the reverse, which is about codependency and boundaries. So when you're codependent on others or other things, habits, whatever it may be, what you're doing is you're actually disempowering the self a little bit here, and you're taking away from the self. It's like you're almost bypassing a shadow element because you don't want to acknowledge that, and buying into something outside of the self. Spirit is asking you to really draw that in. This is again a message between now and the 23rd when we go into Scorpio season, because what I'm going to say to you now is that there is a lot of activations happening that as we get into Scorpio season, and if you're not doing this, it's going to get harder. Okay? It's going to get harder for you to understand why things are happening and to really trace along as to what, because especially if you're projecting that responsibility onto others, it's not going to help. But it says you've got the love is in the reverse. So it's like you've got to pay attention to the self first in terms of love. It's going to be really important. And then lifting the veil is in the reverse, right? So it's like you want the secrets to things. You want to know everything. If you can't even look at the self, why on earth are they going to show you everything else? Let's start with the basics here. That was in the reverse. So they're not going to reveal the truth. How on earth is spirit? We've got to run before we can walk here. And that's what we're doing. That, you know, with this energy here, a newborn comes into the world, right? And it's reliant on its parents. So we're birthing something here where we're in a different energy. But we're adults doing that. So we've got to, if we can, go back to childhood a little bit here to clear anything out that we need to. Because that's what it's also asking us for us to do. Because remember that childlike innocence where we're opening our eyes to different things, and it's like this new exciting energy. That's what they're asking us to get into, but doing it in a healthy way. Not being childish in a way that we're void of responsibility and we're projecting it onto everyone else. Doing it in a way that's creating abundance for ourselves by connecting to the self and allowing our essence to come to the forefront, because it's what we're here to do. Why else would we be here at this point in time? And if you are here at the moment, there's a reason for that, because you're in one of the most celebrated points of history. If no one has mentioned that to you, then, you know, take some time to understand this. And bottom of the deck, we the Hathers, deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. So we are birthing something here, but this goes back to old timelines here. This is back through our mother's timeline, our mother's lineage, our mother's ancestry. Again, there's a lot of feminine wounds being healed at the moment. And again, it's about the feminine within the collective as well that is being healed, even if you're a masculine, okay? Anyway, I hope that helps. I'm going to cut the message off here because otherwise we'll just go further and further in. The next message will be posted as usual tomorrow. Hopefully that helps. Thank you for your likes, your shares and your subscriptions. It means a lot to me. Until next time, take care.